So let's start with that. Tell us about this new investment you made today.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, I do 5 or 6 investments per year. I did Silver Crown early this year. I did Cambria early January this year. So up until recently, Cambria was the largest ever check I put in a single investment day one. Silver Crown was close. Today I beat that record, Peter. I made a very large investment in a company called McFarlane Lake. It's about a $60 million Canadian market cap at the open today. I bought 20% of the company on a partially diluted basis on my first check. Why did I buy it, Peter? It ticks all the boxes for me. It's got 4 million ounces in Ontario, great jurisdiction, roads, power, mills, water, mining town, great infrastructure in place. The company is drilling aggressively. They expect to put a new resource out in a month or two. With a higher gold price and more drilling, they could have 5 or 6 million ounces by then. So if you do the quick math on the back of the envelope, it's trading at about $10 to $15 an ounce in the ground. What I think the new resource will be in a couple of months. Comparable companies, Peter, trade at $30 to $150 an ounce in the ground, so it's incredibly cheap. You ask yourself, well, why is it so cheap? Well, it only came public in October of last year. Was owned by a major mining company called Aris Mining, which is a $5 or $7 billion market cap producing company in Colombia. This was the first asset that they owned originally in the company. Then they were able to acquire a bunch of Colombian producing assets, and the company pivoted very successfully to become a Colombian gold producer. And they had this stranded Canadian gold deposit that was not getting any love on their shareholder base. So they spun it out into a new company. Aris owns 20%, and the company was just kind of coming out of the shadows when I met them. The other key issue, Peter, is when they bought the asset off Aris, Aris got 20% of the company, but they also borrowed $12 million US to buy the asset. So about $17 million Canadian in debt that they had to repay in October of this year. So many investors were worried about that ability to repay the debt. So my investment today will go to take down a vast majority or half of that debt, allow them to accelerate their drilling program. And there's in the money warrants from myself and others that would allow them to probably very easily take off the rest of the debt. So you remove the debt overhang, you bring in a cornerstone shareholder, the stock's trading at a very low valuation. I co-invested, Peter, with Pierre Baudouin, who's a good friend of mine. He's a prolific mine builder. He's chairman of Radisson. He's built Detour Lake, which is the biggest gold mine in Canada, a million ounce a year producer today. The guy, very, very sharp. He and I looked at it together. And, cursory review, we didn't spend 6 months doing DD on it, but cursory review, he felt very strong that it has all the attributes to become a potential gold mine. Potential gold mines don't trade $10 an ounce in the ground. We sold North Superior for $80 an ounce. You've seen recent transactions in the hundreds of dollars an ounce in the ground. So we're starting life at a very low value, very nice deposit, great size potential, great exploration upside at a rock bottom valuation. And all this story needed was some help on the balance sheet and some help creating awareness around the story, which I'm going to hopefully help in the months ahead. Tell people about the story. And I think it's a tremendous long-term opportunity here. Could be very exciting for investors.
So it's McFarlane Lake Mines. What's the symbol?
Ticker is MLM in Canada, and in the US it's MLMLF.
Okay. So you mentioned Radisson.